Hello, everyone. This is Aaron from Deep Dive Discography. Today, I'm joined by Will and Rick from Reeking Aura. How are you guys doing today?
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent, man.
Absolute pleasure. Tomorrow for us, but by the time this is out, it'll be available for everyone. You guys have a new album.
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
Are
Very
you
proud.
Are you excited to get the debut actual album out? Of course, you've had DP before, but
I 100%. We're all, behind the scenes. We're in the group chat buzzing with each other. Everyone's excited, man. We've been sitting on this for a long time. Not terribly long, but just in terms of the writing and all the whole process behind it. This band has been an idea for a long time, so it's really good, man.
And we've been sitting on the album really since for about 7-8 months. And when you want people to hear your music, it's hard to hold it back for a half a year. And so it has been a long half a year. So today is the day where the live stream went on YouTube, the album stream rather, the full album stream. So people are starting to hear the record today.
We had to hold Rick back from all the bootleggers. He was trying to leak it out.
Yeah, all those Indonesian and Jakarta, in Jakarta over there, they got the scene going down there. We got to keep me away from that. I'm into that Indonesian bootlegging scene. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
he's been trying to upload it to LimeWire himself.
Yeah.
LimeWire, yeah.
So the album Blood and Bonemeal, talk a little bit about, just where the title comes from.
Well, I do the lyrics for the most part, so it's been kind of late. We didn't start this, but online a few people have started calling it agricultural metal, or farm metal, and that's obviously the kind of tagline, the byline for the lyrics was that the album is based on a caretaker of some sort of desolate agricultural property and their psychosis and their mental state. I'm no horticulturalist myself. I'm an amateur, but I have my own kind of little homesteading projects that I got really into, especially during the pandemic, even before that. But the pandemic kind of gave me this kind of like isolated feeling, I guess, like most of us had at some point or another. And we kind of introverted into our own hobbies and pastimes, metal included, but also I got really into a lot of the kind of suburban homesteading things I do out here on Long Island. A lot of that involves, just composting and growing vegetables. Unfortunately, I live in a high traffic area, so roadkill is a big part of it. It's a fairly industrial area, so you have different types of vermin and rats. There's raccoon infestations digging up the lawn. So I guess I kind of was just for lyrics putting my own morbid, horrific kind of spin on a lot of things that were around me and things that I was interested in. So it's definitely like a death metal album from like more of a farming and agricultural perspective. Obviously I embellished it a lot with my interest in horror and that sort of thing, but Blood and Bone Meal, anyone who gardens knows that bone meal and blood meal are two additives that you can add into soil to fertilize your plants and feed your plants. So, I just think that's it. It's kind of like this crossroads between that interest of mine and death metal coming together lyrically and artistically, that's about it.
And when it comes to kind of writing the more instrumental part, where do you kind of start with that, Rick?
This album, as well as the EP, has basically been we have 3 guitarists in this band. It's myself, it's Ryan Lipinski, and Terrell Granum as well, all 3 of us. Ryan has written the chunk of the majority of the stuff in this band. So Ryan will come up with the structure, and he'll come up with the riffs, just send us basically a home demo of a song, and then we flesh it out. Everyone sits at home with it and fleshes it out and does their thing. So that's basically how the writing has gone. On this album, I wrote one of the songs. So it was more like, again, pandemic also had something to do with this, because We recorded our first EP in March of 2020, so it was literally 2 weeks before everything happened. And if you saw Queens, New York in the early pandemic, you would see trucks with bodies and corpses, the refrigerator trucks, and that's where we recorded, like 2 weeks before that. So right after that happened, we got into pandemic mode like everyone else, and we basically wrote like a million other bands in that way. So Ryan cranks out these songs, and we sprinkle our little delights on top of it, and it becomes what they are. I think that we were actually talking today, myself, Ryan, and Terrell, about getting together soon to getting some new stuff going. So I think moving forward, it might be slightly different. I think you might have certain guys, here's a whole song, which is cool because here's a whole song, finished song. Let's just get it tight and stuff. But I think also now we might start writing together more as a band, which personally I prefer, but everyone has their own style. And if we could combine all these elements, that's cool. So that's basically how we write.
And one of the big changes between the EP and now is you've changed drummers.
That is correct. Yes. Keith Harris, who's currently Will's current drummer in Afterbirth, was the only drummer in Afterbirth. He played on our EP demo, whatever you want to call it. And in between the demo and the EP, we figured out certain things that maybe we'd better if we had another drummer. And it's taking nothing away Keith's abilities. This guy's a great drummer. Of course, all you have to do is listen to Afterbirth. But sometimes styles and personal styles don't gel with other styles. Who knows? But we got Sam Sherrick in here now. Sam's a young man in bands around Long Island, a million of them. He's in a band with Will as well. Will can tell you about that. He's in Blame God. He's in a lot of good bands here. Stabbed. So yeah, Sam's on board.
Yeah, Sam's in a band called Exsanguinated with me, and I've known Sam for several years now, going back on the Long Island scene. Sam is a few years younger than me, and he's like an up-and-comer, booking shows, doing a lot of his own stuff, playing in several bands as a drummer, as drummers do. And the only thing about Keith I would add to that, to what Rick said, is just Keith is the legacy, the OG drummer of Afterbirth, and still is. He's in a band called Lunacide on Long Island that just put out an album, and he's a great friend. The only problem is with Reeking Aura, there's a lot of logistics. We're spaced out between a few different states. Rehearsals don't happen frequently, and it just turned out to be a better idea for us to go with a different drummer, because Keith didn't have the time or the energy to commit to the project, so he stayed with the bands he was already in. So that's pretty much it. And stylistically, if you listen to Afterbirth, Keith is a very quick, technical, blasting tech death kind of drummer, and I think Sam's style is a little bit better suited to the kind of raw, at times slow, drudgy, doomy death thing that we do. You know what I mean? So I think both drummers' styles are very different, and Sam's flows with what we're doing a little bit more naturally. That's all. And shout out to Keith.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys are both in countless bands, very, very out there in each of your respective scenes. How hard do you find it to kind of hone in on writing for a single band?
I guess, I don't know. A lot of times we've been lucky where one band will be doing something while the other band is kind of quiet, and you're able to do it that way. But when you're doing multiple at a time, like I'm doing currently with my other band, Gray Skies Fallen and Reeking Aura, like recording an album with that band and finishing an album up with this band and trying to start writing and getting shows together with both bands. Yeah, it's hard to, I don't want to say it's hard. It's not hard. I work from home half the time, so I have plenty of time. I don't have any kids. I don't have any responsibilities like that. So personally, I got tons of time to do what I got to do, and I'll take it.
Rick and I commiserate a lot because we're the two guys that don't really have kids. We have a slightly more relaxed schedule, so we're really committed to doing music and to doing these bands and trying to get out there and play some shows before we die. And our, you know, a lot of our bandmates between Gray Skies and Buckshot Facelift and Reeking have kids or families, and we respect that 100%. It's just, you know, we're kind of on a little bit of a different trajectory with what we want to do. So I think having so many different bands, whereas I have some people in my life, some bandmates, say guys in Afterbirth who are, you know, a few years older than me and have careers and kids and everything. You know, Afterbirth can only play so often a year and can only, you know, do so much with our time because of that, as is the same case with, say, Buckshot Facelift, with Rick and I are both in. You know, our drummer is a very busy guy. He can't always get it together. So Reeking Aura, almost in a way, one of the elements that helped push Reeking Aura together was that we were looking for an outlet. You know, me and Rick, I think, are the type of guys that need 3 or 4 bands, because we don't have that one band where all 4 or 5 guys are 24 hours a day all in, you know. So it's like when one band's taking a break, then it's time for Reeking Aura. When Reeking Aura is taking a break, then it's time for Afterbirth. You know, we kind of rotated, and it's a matter of how much of your time you want to put into it.
So what's the next step for Reeking Aura? You guys are doing shows, hitting tours. What's the plan?
Well, go ahead, Will.
I'm sorry, Rick. I was just going to say, I was going to talk about that show. September the 3rd at 1 p.m. It's a death metal matinee at Amityville Music Hall. We're playing our record release show for Blood and Bonemeal. There's Rick, you don't have the flyer in front of you, do you?
I can bring it up real quick.
Yes, sorry. I don't want to mispronounce any. There's 3 other bands performing. I don't want to mispronounce or misremember any of their names. But like I said, it's going to be a matinee show at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Amityville Music Hall, which is a great venue for underground music here on Long Island in Suffolk County. And then later that night at the St. Vitus Bar, Rick and also our bass player Tom are going to be appearing in Gray Skies Fallen, who are appearing with Oceans of Slumber at the St. Vitus Bar in Brooklyn. So there's kind of 2 shows in one day for the whole crew. So we're glad that Reeking Aura could get out there, and Gray Skies. That's a show that was rescheduled from before the pandemic, if I got it right. So you got that, Rick?
Yeah. This show in Long Island and Amityville is with us, a band called Morbidity from Maryland. I believe they're from Maryland, and Doom Creeper, and also a band called Ninth Realm. And Sam put this show together. Sam knows good shit. So, you know, I'm counting on this being the 6th show, which I'm sure will be. AMH is a great venue, so we're happy to play there. And then later that night, I go, like Will said, I go to Brooklyn to play with Oceans of Slumber and Gray Skies Fallen. That's also going to be a good show. So it's going to be a crazy day. But also for Reeking Aura, we're going to start writing, I would think sooner rather than later. You know, in the group text, the other day was like, hey, let's have an album ready to record by the spring, you know? So that's the goal I'm kind of setting on these boys over here. And I ain't getting any younger, man. So I don't have 3 years like my other band. It takes 4 years to make an album sometimes. I don't want to do that. So, you know, it's the point. Let's get chop. That's how I say it. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not old, but I feel old. So a 1 p.m. death metal show sounds ideal to me.
I just turned 40, so it sounds beautiful to me, man. I might have time to go home and take a nap between the 2 shows.
Just hang out in the green room.
Yeah. Well, AMH, the green room is your car. So
perfect. Even better. When it does come to getting out, finally playing shows, obviously doing vocals and playing guitar, very different styles, very different techniques, and a lot of these songs are very different from each other. Which songs are you most looking forward to performing live? I mean, I'll start with Will.
Well, off the new album, Grublust, I really enjoy. That's a fun one to play live because the vocal patterns are very. I was inspired by. I'm not going to say they're like, because it's somebody I hold up to a high degree. I was inspired by old school Cannibal Corpse and old school Chris Barnes. I know people make fun of them now, and it's a big joke and everything, but we all still love those early Cannibal Corpse albums. So I don't know. Reeking Aura is fun to me in general because I get to play around with vocal styles I don't normally do. Like, people who follow my bands know that I do the frog voice a lot. And that's kind of what I've been doing for years and years. So Reeking Aura is fun in that way. Also, the song from the demo that we usually do, Groaning Moss. That's it, right, Rick? That's the one we're doing.
Yeah. Right.
That's always just been a lot of fun to do, man. And you know, getting into specifics, man. I mean, I'd say Grublust is really fun, and so is
what I'm looking forward to is harvesting the hatchet, which we've never.
Yeah.
That's going to be a nice one to play.
I'm sorry, Rick. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I'm like all messed up right now. But yeah, Harvesting the Hatchet is a fun one, man. I was going to say the wrong title. Yeah, Harvesting the Hatchet is a really fun one to play live. It's very intense. The vocals have that old school brutal vibe and that sort of thing. So that's my answer. Sorry to cut you off, Rick.
Hey, no. That was going to be one of my songs that I chose there. And all these songs, I'll play any of them at any time and have a good time. So I think people are gonna like hearing them live, especially with 3 guitars. We've had one show. We played with Malevolent Creation. We were on stage with their drum set. We were on the stage was a decent size, but there's a huge drum set on stage, and plus our drum set, plus we're a 6-member band. So it was a little tight. So, we'd like a little more, space there and it'll translate pretty well, I think, with the 3 guitars live, especially live. That's the whole point, man. It sounds sick with all 3 of us going at the same time. So,
yeah.
It'll feel like you can actually move.
Yeah, that's fun. That is nice.
I usually go in the crowd to give these guys some breathing room up on stage.
Yeah, that's cool. You can chill on the floor or whatever. That's nice.
Do you find you get knocked around a lot in the crowd?
I have kind of a size advantage in terms of gravity. I do get knocked around. I've gotten microphones punched into my teeth. I've been knocked on my ass before, but I usually have a pretty good way of grounding myself, and I got a pretty good instinct for where the ninja kicks and the fists are coming from when I'm down there in the pit, man. I kind of enjoy being in the thick of the action there live and trying to get the audience going myself while I'm down there,
Yeah, good showman. That's part of it, man.
Just one of the people.
Yeah, you got to get involved, man. Yeah, man of the people.
Yeah, I feel like live, after going through the album quite a few times, I think one of the singles you put out, Pyramid Shaped Plow, The Caretaker, that seems like one that would definitely go over well with an audience.
Well, we played that one at this show that we played. I kind of, fucked up the second half. And I don't want to talk about it, but no. It's fun to play. That's the song I wrote on the album, so it has a little bit of I have a little bit of a connection to that one, and it's got some good riffs, and even the transition into the clean part is it works. I think it works. People chill out after a while, after some fierceness in the pit or whatever. They can relax for a minute or two, and then you get back to it.
Yeah, and there's 7 songs on the album, Rick?
Yeah.
So there's 7 songs on the album. There's 3 songs on we only got 10 songs. Right. So my point being that, like Rick said, any of them are fun. I mean, I told these guys in the group text, make up a set list. I'll do any song. They're all still fun. They're all still fresh. We've only played 1 show in the past, so it's kind of like, pick whatever you want. There's no song that I'm kind of like, it's not like I've gotten tired of playing a song every show yet or something, which can happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're ready to go, whatever the song is,
Mm-hmm.
So with you guys being a newer band, I mean, let's just talk about the band name, Reeking Aura. Where does that kind of come from?
That was a long process with many names rejected in between, because there's 6 guys in the band, and we all wanted to be able to at least sign off on the name, even if we didn't think of it. So there was a lot of names thrown out there in the group text, and eventually I guess I think we all liked the word reeking, and like we kind of like there was probably a few variables of reeking this and reeking that, and then Reeking Aura. And I think it kind of like I had the idea of kind of where I wanted to go lyrically even before we had the band going. So like the idea of reeking, or like when you say the word reeking, it has this very like kind of soylent, moist, smelly.
Earthy.
Yes, yeah. And then the aura thing has this kind of supernatural element to it. So I thought it fit very nicely with where I wanted to go with the lyrics. And that's pretty much it, man. Reeking Aura, it just worked for us. I know, Rick, you made a Facebook post yesterday about the original name. If you want to tell that quickly.
Yeah, real quick. We had a name when we started the band. It was myself and Ryan, and we was going to talk about starting a band, a Swedish death metal band. Let's play some Entombed or some Edge of Sanity and shit. But a couple of years went by, and during that time, we had a name, and it was Crimson Dusk, and we even got a logo. A guy from Indonesia goes back to Indonesia. Did this logo for like $15 and a 6-pack of Coca-Cola or something. I don't remember what it was.
They're death metal maniacs over there. They support the shit out.
I love it. He loves it. And anyway, so it was cool. And, and then we started this band after everything. A couple years went by, and we said, all right, finally, let's get it together. And Ryan and myself, we brought in who, was the other guys in Buckshot Facelift, the other band I'm in with Will and Tom Andrew on bass and Terrell. We said, let's just bring these dudes in and let's start here. And then that's how the band started. So we were going along, everything cool. We had a couple practices. Oh yeah, Crimson Dusk. And then South Park put out an episode, and who was the Dying Fetus was in there? Yeah. And
you know where we're going. Yeah.
Yeah. So the name, the band name they chose was Crimson Dawn. And I was like, God, fuck. I was like, no, we can't. That looks really cheesy if we do that. I mean, it was probably cheesy name anyway, but so yeah, we changed it immediately. And then right after that is when the back and forth and the group text started. And then eventually it was Reeking, like Will said, Reeking. And then there was somebody else had something Aura. And then we're like, yo, Reeking Aura. And then I don't know who's, maybe Ryan. I think it was Ryan that actually settled on that. And we were like, yeah, that's it, man. So that's how we came up with it.
So you could have just looked like a South Park cover band, essentially.
That's true.
Didn't want that connotation, man. And with the word reek somewhere in there, that's also like a little bit of a Carcass homage in some way too. So
yeah, this worked out better, in my opinion.
But
what was your least favorite name that was suggested?
Oh, geez, I don't even remember. It was.
Well, I can
God
tell
bless
you,
Keith Harris, but it was probably something I think it was one of Keith's suggestions.
I know that I came up with one that it wasn't universally hated by you guys, but it definitely didn't make the cut, man. But look out for my new gore grind band. I did get a few guys to sign off on this band name, just not these guys. I do have a band coming out called Flemetary. Yeah, Flemetary from Long Island. It was a little too gore grind of a name for this group. But Flemetary is going to be an upcoming gore grind band from Long Island. Yeah,
I think it's going to be fucking. What was that? A cassette demo of Tascam demo project or something? Demo tape, bedroom 4-track,
8-track. Yeah, we're just
8-track.
Yeah, straight to 8-track release. Yeah,
nice, sick.
So of course, Will's in another band. No surprise there.
Yeah, a few of them. Always, you got to watch, man. There's a new one popping up every day.
So obviously, this album's out through Profound Lore Records. What are some of the big advantages to being on a label like Profound Lore?
Well, you can speak to that, Will. You've been on that label.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is Reeking Aura's first go around on Profound Lore, and they've been great. I mean, this, the album's obviously coming out tomorrow. So this week and last week, we've been seeing a lot of reviews. He's been getting us out there, ads, the promotion alone and the networking that some of these labels bring to the table is great. Everybody, like, the word label kind of seems like a dirty word in the underground scene sometimes, but a good, strong, independent label like Profound Lore Records or some other labels I've worked with can really take your band and do a lot for you, man. And, I used to be an Artificial Brain. I'm no longer in that band. But I got a chance when I was in that band to see what Profound Lore does, and they do a lot. They did a lot for me and for those guys. They did a lot for Reeking Aura. A lot of it has to do with promotion and networking and just putting their logo, just putting their label name, their stamp on your project and on your band. gives you credibility within the scene. You know what I mean? Because people know this label. People by now know Profound Lore. They know Chris Bruni, the guy who runs it, and they give a certain respect to his opinion. And we're very honored and humbled that he has given this much support to us and put us on that platform. So yes, big major labels will screw bands, but these kind of like independent metal labels can really do great things for you. And Profound Lore is a great example. So like I would just say, to keep it short, I guess, to that answer, promotion, distribution, like global distribution, even, you know, getting it out there. And then from there, if you take and kind of meet him on that, and you do a lot of your social media work, and you play shows, and you get your band out there, you keep building upon each other. You know what I mean? And you know, who knows where you can go with that? But they kind of give you that leg up from the demo level. 100%.
Yeah, sums it up perfectly, man.
Yeah.
And they were my number one, like, before any label seeking or anything like that, is like, I want to be on Profound Lore. So like that's me, you know, because you know, you look forward to their releases, right, as they come out, or I do. And it's like everyone, you know, is going to be quality. So I want to be associated with that. And we're very, very happy, especially being our debut album. I mean, you know, not many bands get that opportunity. So we're thankful.
Yep.
Yeah. And Chris is very passionate about what he does. I used to live in the same city as him, funny enough.
Right.
And I had bought, ironically, the Artificial Brain long sleeve for Infrared Horizon. And
he had that limited one.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Two of it now, because one of
them
them disappeared in the post, and I emailed Chris, and he drove over to my house and dropped one off at my door.
Solid. Solid. Yeah. Solid guy, man. He's, you know, things just like if you're on the road, if you're on a tour, and you know, you say you run out of merch, you know, he's shipped us boxes of CDs to a different city or something, just so we could have them for the rest of the tour. Just all that type of shit that maybe, I don't know that you wouldn't get it from a bigger label, but he's so passionate about it, and he's so in touch with each of his artists that he's there to do that, man. And that doesn't surprise me one bit. That kind of sums up the label to me, that he would drive it to your house like that, because he's an underground guy. He's a fan of the music himself, you know, so.
Yeah, and it obviously does come with an advantage. He's the one who handles all the music. He, like, you know, when you talk to him, you're talking to the person who's handling everything, and it's not, you know, some other person over here who handles merchandising and someone over here who has all, you know, a warehouse full of stuff. So it's definitely an advantage for you guys.
Hands on, all hands on. Yeah.
Well, last but not least, do you have anything you'd like to say to your friends and fans listening in about Reeking Aura and the new album?
Rick?
Well, just that it comes out tomorrow, as we've been saying, which now is in the past when you're watching or listening to this. But you know, we plan on, like we brought up a couple times in this interview, like some of us, like me, are older and all this and that. Some of us are younger, but I want to be consistent with putting quality material out regularly, right? So like, I think the future for the band is pretty good when you have a bunch of guys that are all on the same page and everyone's looking forward to the next step. And that's kind of like, I don't want to say an evolution of the sound, you know, but like, you know, I think the next album isn't going to sound 100% like this album. We've even talked about certain things we want to start adding into the sound or whatnot. So it's already in the beginning stages, blueprints, as we like to say. So, you know, just keep an eye out on things, and, you know, live too, you know, hopefully this record will open some doors where we can get some, because we got to pick our spots, man. Like Will said, we can't be dicking around playing, you know, the amount of times we can get together is few and far between. So those times we need to make them count. So we need to play higher quality shows and better shows, you know, to make everything worth it and to make it all possible. So this album hopefully will open those doors too.
It's hard to fit 6 guys in a basement, as much as we love the basement shows. I would just say, you know, thank you to everybody supporting this band and all the bands that, you know, people who kind of know Reeking Aura or Afterbirth or Gray Skies know that we got this loose knit collective of people now. We got a big network of guys that are all in all these bands with us. I love all these guys. They're my brothers. I love all the fans and supporters and people who check in with us, man. And we're looking forward to seeing those people when we play out live. And you know, I would just say, whether you like Reeking Aura or not, know that this is our legacy. This is what we live for. This is how we, that, you know, nothing of this is nothing of this is artificial, no pun intended. But what I'm really getting at is, this is, you know, this is our legacy. This is our art. It's all from the heart. It's all organic. It was all curated with blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? So this is us, man. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You could say it was all curated with blood and bone meal.
Yeah, no.
Oh, shit.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to steal that from you. I might use that.
Well, thank you so much, Will and Rick. I very much appreciate your time. And
Absolutely.
for everyone who is listening, by the time this is out, the album's out, Blood and Bone Meal. Listen to it, buy it, do whatever you can to support it, because, I mean, it's great. So what else needs to be said?
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Aaron. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, guys.